Hello guys. I'm going to do a not quick video, but a short video giving my suggestions, my feedback, and how things I would like to see in the future. So I'm going to talk about general fixes, geopolitical fixes, about the knights, maybe I should say royal court, warfare, and economy. So how did I came with my suggestion? So right now I've played around 60. No, I play like around 32 hours of gameplay, and I watch 28 hours of other people's playing. So I have around 60 hours in this game playing or watching. I played kingdoms like Byzantium, Nicaea, and form Rome, Norway. I've played Navarra. I've watched other people's playing as Aragon, England, France, uh, Leinster. So now you know how much I've seen and play, and you can judge my suggestions. My method is based on my personal experience. Obviously, I compare how I feel about the game and how other people in their game talking about the futures of this game, and obviously my observations from YouTubers who are playing the game and they're giving the personal feedback. So my general fixes is I think should be free by the company. So, but the geopolitical I will mention later. The Knights, Warfare, and Economy. I think there should be DLC. So some things the company will give for free, in my opinion, should give for free, and some should give as a DLC. So balance. So I will start with the free fixes I think the game needs. First one is I think the game should start not in 2024 as an option, but by default. So minor things, easy to fix, should be like this, and maybe the religion should be like historical. I think that's how the setup should be, because every time I have to click this, obviously some people say, oh no, you know what, I like to have like a different setting. So maybe the game should remember the state that I left my gameplay settings the last time, so I don't have to re-click them all the time. So that's an easy fix. Let's go to a next one. So I'm starting the game, and as you can see, the time is already running. I don't like that. I don't like that. When I first launch the game, please pause it. Even if I load the game from a saved file, please pause the game. Another one which is quite obvious and everybody wants it is the zoom in and zoom out uh, capability of this game. It's very limited, especially the zoom out. I mean, you can see very little, and that applies to both battles and the campaign. Now, about this button over here, first of all, I would like to say that backspace doesn't do anything to me, and I didn't really change my settings. So I don't know why it says backspace. I think it's a minor bug, right? I think. In addition to that, I don't see the practical need for this button here. Maybe you can. Okay, I can see what it does, but I know, right? I know these things. I know. So I think it just take space for no good reason. So you can remove it or put it up here, maybe. Personally, I don't need it. I think most people won't need it anyway. Another thing that many people mention is the portraits here. I think I agree that they are quite poor, so I think it will be an easy fix. Later in the campaign, and I shall maybe load the campaign to show what I mean. Yeah, let me load this campaign. So I was trying to expand as much as possible, and you can see here,
Sire, we are at war.
yeah, we are at war. You can see I've conquered a lot of land, right? And let me go through a city. So you can see we have all these little icons, right? I found very hard to follow, although it's highlighted what you have built or not. After a while, I feel very tired to trying to follow, and I was, tabbing from place to place to see what's going on and what I can build or not build. I think I love this system, right? I love the system, but I think this should be a bit bigger so you can easier see what's going on, and maybe it should be like you can see that there is a circle around it. Maybe that should be green or red if you, or no, maybe green if you build it, red if you cannot build it, and maybe um, very gray if you haven't built it. No. Uh, yeah, if you haven't built it, but you can build it. So something like that, right? Because I felt very tired going from province to province after having like a huge empire. Another thing I don't really understand, especially in the beginning of the game, is workers. How exactly? Let me go back to. Let me go back to here. Uh, so
Our
here,
kingdom is
no.
at war.
So here, how exactly you calculate the workers? You have six here, five here, five here, five here. Do you do it, let's say, based on the number of settlements plus one, because the city will have two? Here you have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, but you have five. Do you say that monasteries they don't give? How do you calculate this? Why is five here? Why is five here? I don't get it. It's a minor things, right? Minor things. Another thing is on diplomacy.
Political
It's
view.
especially the beginning. It's super tiring. Super tiring. Maybe I should just make them the music a bit promises. Audio. Yeah. So on the diplomacy, when I want to do, especially in the beginning, you want to establish as many trade routes you can, right, to increase merchants' opinion. But I think it's really hard to go one by one, especially in every campaign. It's quite boring, to be honest. So I would like a special button, another button here that shows me how which people are willing to trade with me, and maybe the AI can send me the trade request, right? And I can decide yes or no. And they can, and in order not to spam you, they can send it once per king. So if let's say Castile wants to trade with me, they can send it only once in a lifetime. But when their king dies, and if they are still willing to trade, they can ask me again, something like that. So I don't have to check every single time who wants to trade with me. The same thing should apply with non-aggression pacts. And obviously, something that everybody complains uh, is basically when you're going to say yes or no, they don't give you any indication, right? You don't know. So that would be nice to have. Also, I find very annoying that everything is one under the other. If they stack them vertically, I would like to see them to have a bit of space so you cannot misclick, or have them vertically, or sorry, or horizontally instead of vertically, or give a lot of space between them. Um, I would like to see something similar about merges. I don't want to go like from for each kid try to find a suitable candidate. Maybe you can have like here a button that you can click it and automatically People who wants to marry you, they can send a request. Also, these bottom messages, in my opinion, they're great, but maybe they can go here. I think that would be much better. Also, this whole thing, I think the time should go up here. Maybe you can reduce a bit of the UI. Maybe shift it a bit, right? And maybe you can have like a how many times I'm going to press this anyway, right? So maybe that can go here. You don't even need this button, I think, and you don't really need the menu. Most people press escape anyway, but I get it. You want it here. Maybe this can go up down here. Maybe. So I would like this to be like a one single button here that you press, and then it gives you like a screen, like this type of screen, and then you can interact with those. So you free the space, and maybe you can expand a bit the map, so you can bit it a bit like this. Another thing is on diplomacy. So here, so it's a bit. So you're here and you see stances, alliances, and stuff like that, right? I was expecting here or here when I click. You see, when I click, by the way, you do that by control click, and automatically gives you the diplomacy. But if I go here, you can do it, but here in on relationships, I cannot do it. So that was a bit unexpected, to be honest. But okay, it's a minor thing. And on relationship, I would like when I hover. So when I hover, I would like to see the relationship, the actual relationship, instead of clicking every single time, right? Here, when I hover with France, and here, to be honest, I would like a small pop-up that shows relationship and maybe influence at the same time. So it will be easier for me to know who likes me, who doesn't like me, because here, okay, it says red, but how much red is red, right? I don't know, especially when you have a relationship between 1000 and plus 1000. And why is that? Why not 100 minus 100 to 100? It will be much easier to understand what's going on. And another thing, how exactly influence helps? I mean, how much is good amount of influence? One, two, 10? You don't really know. And you go when you go here, okay, how good is good? Because I know it can go up to 1,000, right? And that can go up to 1,000. But how good is good? I have no idea. Another thing I would like to see. Let me check my notes. Yes, same thing applies with stability, right? And maybe when I click here, it should be like this and give me my internal stability, right? If I go here, how good is good? I have no idea how good is good. And maybe you can highlight when I go for stability. Go back. When I go for stability, maybe you can highlight the kingdom and the provinces automatically because this is how it should be. So it should be a combination between that map and somehow this map with stability. I know it's a bit tricky, especially with visualizations, but I'm sure the designers will come up with a good solution. Uh, so here, if I click the button, another thing, let me go. It just go to where my king is, right? And do we have capital cities? Like, is this my capital city? How do I really recognize which one is my capital city? And does capital city have any bonus? That's another minor thing I think they should fix. So when I click here, maybe you can give me this screen But and when I click here, maybe you can give me something else, although it won't be. So you can have like a different icon here, and it will give me a different screen. Something I don't know, maybe um, something else. I don't know. Another thing is, as an Asia, when you start the game, you have Rhodos as a vassal, and sometimes as Byzantium in the third starting historical uh, how to put it like a 1356 when you start there. You have Mistras as a vassal, but to be honest, vassals, they don't feel like vassals. They're not really doing something useful, or they're not really under your control, quote unquote control. So they don't really feel like a vassals. They just give you a small amount of money and that's it. So maybe they need to make them a bit more strict in their relationship, so the vassal will be more willing to come to your aid and have like a more positive attitude against you, something like that. And I know in the future maybe you can have like a different type of vassals, like a vassal like three levels, one which is quite independent and they don't really care about you, one which they just give you money, and the second level could be like they give you money and they're more willing to participate in wars, and the third will be like they're completely under your control, and somehow you should be able in some point to actually uh, incorporate the vassals into your kingdom. Maybe the third level will be this annexation type, but you don't really annex them, but you annex them. You know what I mean? Like they cannot interact with other nations, but at the same time, they are not 100% under your control. Something like that. Uh, family course. Yes. Another thing is the family. When you go here, you can see the family, right? But here you can see family and court. Why don't you give me the court here just for consistency? I know it's here, I know. But for consistency, I think they should put it there. Because to be honest, I didn't really notice that. Although it's in front of my face, I didn't really notice it. And I clicked this map so many times and I didn't notice it. So maybe for consistency, they should put it here as well. I think pretty much. Oh, another thing is about the bonuses on the products. I think they should somehow separate them in a like a I don't know the three four lines can be like a bonuses to economy. They have a line here, distinct line, and then you have like a things that's for commerce and things that are for warfare. So I don't really have to search what is what, because here is like a it's like it feels random. You don't know when you're looking for something. You don't know what is it. Okay, after a while you might be familiar, but it would be nice if they somehow separate them a bit. Another thing is when you take diplomatic actions. Let's say I want to have. Um, Sorry, I want to have like a. Come on, give me the. So if I say I want a non-aggression pact, some people might get upset. But which people are they, right? I would like to know who is going not to like me. I think that will be much easier. Or maybe you can give like a the top five people who will be angry, something like that. Let's see if I have anything else about the general fixes. Oh yeah, the battle map terrain. I think it is a bit of adjustment. I feel that there are so many small hills in the battlefield, and it's a bit annoying. Um, and I think that's it. Also, do these bonuses stack with let's say I have like a flags here, and I build another flag somewhere else. Does this bonus stack? I guess they don't stack, right? Otherwise, it will be too powerful. So if I have a flags here, that let's say it gives me, I don't know, global, I know, global 5% manpower. Does it stack with other type of bonuses from the same building? I guess it doesn't, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't make much sense. It would be too powerful. But if they stack like a, I guess I don't know. I don't know about that. So okay. Anyway, something like that. So if they stack, it's too powerful. If they don't stack, just ignore this one. So I'm going to continue. Uh, I'm going to continue with what I think should be the future DLCs, which obviously we will have to pay. I will start with the geopolitical. What I mean by that is, I would like to see more provinces up here, just to make here on the Rusland, here on around Caspian Sea, up to India, but do not include India. Otherwise, the map will be too much, and some more here in the Central Africa, especially here, and you can just make a Sahara here, and maybe you can add like a couple of provinces here. So basically, down here, around here, and here to make the map complete. Also, I would like to see some new provinces, especially here, like the Greek islands. They feel dead, basically, and you can have Naxos as well. Mytilene, Chios, that would be great. So 1, 2, 3, 4 here, Thassos. A bit more here, and Korkira here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe here a bit, 8, 9, something like that. Also, there is a small problem, in my opinion, with coastal cities like here, here Thessaloniki, which should be here, by the way. Another thing that I saw was very weird was Newcastle. I've lived in Newcastle. It's not here, definitely. It's more like here. Yeah, it's more like here. But anyway, um, so yeah, they feel a bit weird, right? They feel a bit weird, and there should be a bit more coastal. I get it why they do it. I get it, totally get it. I totally get it. If you put it here, you block this. I get it, but yeah, I don't really like it. So that could be one DLC that you want, that you fix this. You add more nations. You make the map bigger, and yeah, that would be a nice DLC to have. I'm continuing now with the knights and the royal court. So I believe that the knights should become the royal court. What do I mean by that? So basically, they will become counselors, and you have the following positions: one for warfare, one for religion, one for commerce, taxation, diplomacy, espionage, education, and relationships. Relationships means like these relationships, right? Not the external relationships. So maybe you can have like stability instead. So one instead of relationship, maybe you can name it stability, something like that. So these 8 people will do this stuff. So, and based on which one you give a position, let's say you give a noble a position in commerce, maybe the traders, the merchants will become a bit upset. Or if you give warfare to, I don't know, a clergy, maybe the nobles will become upset. So there is this implication. So let's say this button here will be your royal court. You click it, and you go there. Another thing I would like to see is instead of having this, they will have this, but at the same time they will have personal traits, which will give them negative and positive traits, and so that will be the initial, let's say, skill, and they will be able to skill up with these regular skills. But at the same time, I don't want to see everybody to go uh, godlike, like a 15 out of 15, like everything maxed out. It feels a bit weird. So they should age and die like the king. And I get it why they have the timeline like this. Although I wish this would be like a historical day, like okay, we start with, I don't know, 1155 and we just go through the years. But I get it why they do it. I get it. I get it. But it would be nice if they age and die, and the game give you like options which one you want to replace. So they will give like five options based on those five options, and some will be good, some will be bad. And let's say you have a position for warfare, and the best one, let's say, is a peasant. Everybody will be upset, but you have like a super good um, guy that will give you a national bonus on your warfare. You have a guy who will give you a national bonus on commerce, a national bonus on diplomacy, a national bonus on religion, a national bonus on espionage, etc., etc. Each position will give something different. And this here will be only for maybe agents and marshals. And in my opinion, that should be around, you should be like 12. Yeah, I mean, 8 is quite limited. 9 if you include your king. Although your king should be like usually only of, should be only maybe diplomat or how to call it, a marshal. So to make your king a spy, or what was the other, a clergy. Okay, maybe if you're Teutonic Order, maybe you can be like a clergy, but a merchant, make your king a merchant. It feels a bit weird, right? It feels weird. So he will be marshal, and best the other thing maybe diplomat, but yeah. And that will be warfare. Another thing is maybe you can have. Oh, sorry. We're talking about the royal court, right? I think that will be another DLC. So basically, you have uh, agents, or maybe knights. We can call them knights here. You will have here your royal court, who will be people who just assign on a different screen, like a new screen like this, and you can just not like this, but like a map. But you click a button, you go to the screen, and you assign vertically something like that, the positions. Another DLC will be warfare. I think this will increase the number of units you have per general. It should be up to 12. Um, Formations should have a better impact. Another thing is the unit size should be a bit more. It feels a bit too little. The battle map, as I mentioned, should be a bit more adjusted to make it more natural. Um, some units need a bit of balance in the modifiers, and the modifiers they receive from buffs. It would be nice to have like an ambush, like you can hide on trees, and then you have like an ambush where you get like, maybe you have like a 5% extra morale and attack, and the enemy will have minus 5% morale and defense. Maybe in the future they can include naval warfare. Maybe castles. You have castles so like this. Maybe a castle will have like a small area of influence, and around here the enemy takes a bit of attrition, just a very small amount, a very small amount, and you make the enemy go a bit slower. So castle will have a better impact around here. Um, Yeah, and I think that's it for my DLC for Warfare. So easy stuff, and maybe generals will have like traits at the same time. Remember, we have traits and skills. If they implement that traits and skills, you have your personal traits, and then you have your skills, and both should have positive and negative effects for the same. So this one it gives only positive. What about any negative, right? When I say negative, it can be like, okay, we have infantry tactics, but the infantry now costs a bit more for this army, something like that, or siege craft. It gives us siege craft, but at the same time we go a bit slower in the campaign map, something like that. Another DLC that will be the last one will be economy. Uh, I like what they did here with buildings. We have like one building, and then you can have like multiple underneath. But to be honest, it's really hard to follow. After a point, it's like really hard to follow what's going on. So, and I think that you can maximize every single city. Maximize it. It's a bit weird. Like you don't have like a huge cities that matter more than others. So what you can have like a Constantinople, it should be a bit more valuable than, I don't know, Sardis, right? It should be more valuable. Rome, Paris, London, right? These cities should be more valuable based on the timeline and the historical date. Should be more valuable. Also, you don't have any wonders here, like a Theodosian walls, or you can have here like the Patriarch, something like that. Okay, here you have Patriarch as well. Maybe Antioch, right? Special city. Alexandria, the same. What is the Patriarch thing? Maybe Athens, you have a Parthenon, right? Something like that. The buildings themselves, they should also uh, also you don't have like the local. There is no local government, so you have your personal royal family that goes through here as governance. Okay, I get it. Maybe you need to adjust a bit, and that's a maybe. It's a minor thing what I'm describing right now. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you say, okay, you know what? It's not that important. We can have people, places that are not governed, or maybe you can have like you have the provincial system, and then you can have like another layer on top of that, where you have like let's say the Balkans governed by one guy, Anatolia by another guy. So if you complete it, you have this governor who governs on top of that. So you don't govern one province, you govern a region, something like that. One for Africa, one for Italia, Spain, France, England, something like a prime minister or something. And you can use your royal court to do that, maybe, or you can have like another other people who do that, like you have the court, and then you have the governance, who will be completely different. And that's a maybe. That maybe that's a bit too much. Also, it would be nice if I can rearrange my buildings, just drag and drop, like you do with unicards of a general. Like also, I would like to rearrange here. Sure, here if I have, okay, I cannot rearrange them. Like I cannot drag and drop. I would like to do that just because I'm a weirdo, and I would like to do the same with my buildings. I would like to rearrange the cards. Settlements, you have one slot that so here you have these buildings, right? Well, not buildings, settlements. So it would be nice, instead of be able to instead of be able to produce the ship here, it would be nice if I produce it here. So you have like a slot, and I can click it here. So I can produce the herbs here, the flags. I can produce the quarry here. Just let me have a button to actually do it here. So if the enemy comes here and destroy this, maybe this will be downgrade, lose its value, and downgrade. So I have to rebuild it. But otherwise, what's happening right now is you just go up. You just building all the way up. There is no downgrading, only upgrading. So in this way, if you do that, warfare, when you do warfare, you can destroy the economy of someone else just by taking these things down, right? So here you can have like the crops, maybe on a what is it? On a castle you can have like a militia building or something like that. Some buildings, all of them have usually one, two, three, four, five, six, but you cannot really upgrade the building itself. You're upgrading this stuff, right? But let's say for housing, brothels. Okay, maybe brothels should be something like this. Else, I mean brothels. Come on, dude. Maybe you can make it theaters or something. I don't know, something else. Just please change that. And each of these buildings should about the population should have a bit more like especially housing. You should have like 5 levels. One, two, three, four, five. Not this type. I'm not talking about the extra stuff, the public baths, the adequate, the water system anyway, the large houses. No, I'm talking about this large house to have like 5 levels only for houses and maybe marketplaces and farms could have like 3 levels. So you just make them a bit, bigger, let's say this way. But not for, let's say, barrack. Doesn't make any sense. You just build those, or maybe yeah, you build those, and you will be fine. Another thing is some places will be a bit more guarantee what they can produce or not. I know it is there, but sometimes feels a bit weird. So maybe you can expect here a bit more. I wouldn't expect here to find silver. All right, it's a bit weird. Anyway, um, and here instead of like having farms as a main city in the main city, maybe you can have like a cattle marketplace for food where people can go and buy their stuff. So like happened in the real life, they didn't have farms here, have the farms here, so you can build the farm here, and here you can have like a food market that gives, let's say, imports the food magically from somewhere. And maybe you can have like a different option for buildings and icons based on culture and religion. And the last thing I would like to say about the economy is that things have positive and negative. For example, housing that should consume food, right? Or marketplace, it should give a bit of unhappiness, not happiness. Based on not, maybe happiness and public order should be different options. So we'll give happiness, but will decrease the public order, something like that. Maybe you can separate happiness from public order, and it will have like a bit different effects. Or maybe the military buildings should cost you money per turn, per I don't know how you calculate the time exactly. Fortifications should cost money to maintain them. So you don't want fortifications and military buildings everywhere. It doesn't make sense, and it's not historical accurate. So they should cost money. Um, Harbors, maybe they can produce a bit of um, less happiness for the moment, and in the future maybe you can have like a extra feature about how clean or not clean, how healthy people are. So let's say baths will boost your health, while a harbor will reduce health, something like that. And yeah, I think that would be another good DLC, and it would be nice to have this stuff. As a last note, I don't like how easily you can boost your culture. So I would like it's a bit weird how easily you can boost your culture. It doesn't feel natural that you can all of a sudden have Greek, Byzantine, I don't know, in Granada. It's a bit weird. So maybe and also in some cases you can see that in 3056 this is not anymore Smyrna is not anymore Greek as a culture, which is really wrong. Or you can see Germans here or here, which is really really weird, right? So maybe the culture should be not easily changed, right? But won't cause. So that will be the point, that it will cause you problems having cultures that are not uh, going well with your culture. And maybe you can have, how, let's say, like the Byzantines can accept more of these people but less here. Or maybe the how they call it, the Shiraz can more accept the Siwa, and maybe the North African nations can accept more these cultures, and maybe French can accept more these cultures here, and the Germans can accept more cultures here. So although they are not 100% the same culture, they can tolerate each other. But and so when they conquer a new province, they will not have that many problems. Will be less problematic. But when they conquer something, I don't know, in South Europe, that will be more, problematic for them. And it will be a bit easier to change religions, but harder, let's say, in some places like Rome, Constantinople, Antioch, Alexandria. It will be harder to convert things because the patriarch who are there, the bishops, and these areas will boost religion in the adjacent provinces. Like here, you will guarantee that these places will be like pretty much 80%, 70% Orthodox, or you can say that pretty much they will be how they call it, Catholics. Or here you have like in Mecca, you have pretty much here guarantee Muslims. And the only way to change that will be, let's say, like okay, can you please change that from Byzantine to Rome? Another thing, and let's say Rome conquers the Papa style states, and eventually through an event. So it would be nice to have. Oh, so that button can be events, right, or missions, something like that. And then you have missions and to go and convert these people back to Orthodoxy, or you can have like the Papa states conquer Constantinople, and you have like an event that you try to persuade them become Catholics, something like that, to unify the church, something like that. So it will be a bit easier to convert, let's say, this area to Orthodoxy, this area to Catholics, to become Catholics, and this area to become Muslims. So we have a more, historical accurate. I know they're not going exactly for that. I get it, but maybe you have like an option in the main menu when you decide how historical accurate the end campaign should look like. So that will be a nice feature to have. So in summary, I think the changes include UI, a bit of the experience, how you interact with buildings, how you interact with your marshals, how you stack bonuses, diplomacy, and stuff like that. So I hope you like this video. Let me know if you agree with my suggestions, and please leave a like, so maybe the developers will actually put some effort on that, on what I suggest, and maybe we can have like a very nice DLC in the future. Thank you for listening.